I wonder if I should put the 90s Mario movie in the thumbnail just to screw around with the viewers. Now well, here we go! So the new Super Mario Bros. Movie just came out and, well, it was actually pretty good. I've been seeing a lot of online review scores that have been bashing it, but I had a decent time watching it. I was expecting this to be forced because I, along with many others, am getting increasingly tired of studios making stuff out of already existing products instead of just, making original content. And I was very wary about Chris Pratt voicing Mario, especially given that every day I seem to wake up and receive new information about him against my will. But this was a good experience. I went into this thinking that it was going to be a cheesy kids movie, but there were moments of adult humour and scenes where the characters are in serious mortal danger, and they even try to use colour to try and scare you. Like Dry Bones and Shy Guy are in this movie, and you can tell that the writers really wanted to make an impact and to creep you out when they arrived. It caught me off guard, but in a good way. It's like the writers knew that, yeah, this is an animated film, so you've got to have some stuff for kids in there, but the franchise is almost 40 years old at this point, so a lot of people seeing this film literally grew up on the games, and now are adults with full-time jobs and even families. I was one of those people who grew up on the games, specifically... This was not in the script, by the way. I had no intention of doing this. I was one of those people who grew up on the games, specifically Mario Kart, and in the parts that specifically referenced the game like we saw Rainbow Road in the trailers, I felt like I was driving along with the characters. There were loads of tie-ins to other games, and personally it gave me a lot of nostalgic feelings. An extra bonus is that, yeah, other games are brought up, but it does not feel like the movie is relying purely on the references. You actually got a story with characters other than saying, "Hey kids, remember Rainbow Road? Do you remember the Nintendo 64? Let's move on to the voice acting, which was seriously good. I felt like I was watching an animated character and not Charlie Day. That was, of course, except for Bowser. Bowser is voiced by Jack Black, and I'm very sorry, but it is obvious at times. I promise I'm not going to try and spoil anything, but there's a scene where Bowser sings, and I've listened to enough Tenacious D to know that that is just Jack Black. But weirdly enough, that kind of makes it better. I also liked Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, and I liked the relationship that he has with Mario as the story progresses. There are a couple moments though that were kind of forced. You know how Seth Rogen has that laugh? Yeah, he does bring that in, but only once though. Also, if we are going to be talking about this movie, there is something I want to bring up. I, like any self-respecting 26-year-old, was trying to find memes to send to my friends on Discord. So I went into my memes folder, and I found this. British Mario. That is just cursed. He looks like I need to book an entire day off work just so he can fix my shower, and he's gonna show up at 4:30. Let's get into the flaws now. There are a couple of them, but unfortunately they are a bit obvious. For starters, this is a Super Mario Bros. Movie, so you expect it to be revolving around Mario and Luigi, but they're separated for most of the film. Most of the first act involves the two of them together, but when they enter the Mushroom Kingdom, they're broken apart. It's more of a Mario solo movie. My other problem with this film revolves around Peach. If I go into any further detail, then I am going to be spoiling things, but there are moments with Peach where it does feel like they are setting up for a sequel, and I really hate it when that happens. Maybe don't start talking about sequels when you're only on the first entrant in your franchise. Maybe get the first one out before you consider expanding further on your story. Other than that though, there were moments where it did feel a bit ridiculous, but then I remembered that this is a movie with a talking gorilla and people with mushrooms on their heads. I can handle a suspension of disbelief if it's a kids movie or an animated one, because the rules of those universes can easily be stretched. They are not bound by the laws of our world. There's also loads of different animation styles when it comes to this genre. It's kind of like Ed, Edd and Eddy, where you'll occasionally see a character's arms stretch off screen, or they'll just break the rules of physics because they can. I can afford to be lenient with this kind of media. Overall though, I did have a good time watching this despite its flaws. Will I see it in the cinema again? No, not really. But do I appreciate it? Yes, and that's what matters to me. So yeah, that was the Super Mario Bros. Movie. A surprisingly good adaptation that could be enjoyable for both kids and adults. And I really like that when that happens. It's good to see a cartoon that adults can enjoy, whilst also understanding that generally animation is aimed towards children. Even though it's not on the same level as Inside Out or The Incredibles, I think you can still have a good time no matter what.